So today we are sitting with Mrs. Veena Gaur, and she is currently heading the CTM school, and she has over 20 plus years of teaching plus administrative experience. So we'd like to meet her and generate her views to understand what the teaching scenario is going around, and let's understand from her only. So welcome to Excelify Interviews, ma'am. So let's start from the beginning only. How was your childhood basically? What were you like when you were in your teens? Give us a background about your family and stuff.
See, I belong to a middle class family. I would say upper middle class. My dad was a bureaucrat. I've been born and brought up in Delhi, in the heart of Delhi. I used to live in Charkhiwal. There only my schooling and colleges happened. I used to live in a joint family. So a lot of focus was given to moral values and discipline, and which I think these days is missing, and we should focus more from family. Actually, as a child learns a lot. Family is the first teaching place or learning place for a child, which I think these days which is missing. During my childhood, because my grandparents used to stay with me, I have learned a lot of values, and discipline was another thing. Yes, as a teenager, I was like a normal teenager who was naughty, like a tomboyish kind of person. Hope my students are not listening. But yes, I was a naughty child. Like other teenagers, I wanted and got a thrill, the kind of rules set by the elders. I used to do that.
So in terms of education, if you were to speak, so were your family very compulsive on your education? How they used to treat you about your exams and all?
No, thank God. My parents were more towards the holistic development. I used to participate a lot in co-curricular activities, also equally in sports. So all the focus was on the holistic development.
So if we were to understand from you, how good were you in studies? The reason I'm asking this is because as a student, when I used to learn and when I was in school and colleges, there was a preconceived notion that the teachers that are teaching, they must be toppers.
Okay.
They must be toppers in their school, or they must have done really, really excellent, and that is why they are into the teaching profession. Now I understand not everyone would be of that same profile, but as a student, I'm curious to know as how good teachers were in their educating period.
Alright. So this is a misconception. I won't say that very, very brilliant student, but yes, I was average and used to do good in academics. As I said earlier, that not only academics, I used to be a lot into co-curricular activities and also in sports. So I won't say that I was and all teachers are not right. Students who think that teachers are toppers, that's not the case, but they won't realize the amount of pains a teacher takes before coming to the classroom, the kind of preparation she does before entering in the classroom. Students are not. But I won't say that all the teachers were toppers and good.
So during your early learning period or learning stages, who was your favorite teacher and why? Do you remember any of your teachers in your school?
Yes.
Like they were really, really favorite of yours?
Yes. Right now when I'm heading a school and I take a lot of teachers training, I always tell my teachers that a teacher can really make a difference. And I give this example to all the teachers. One of my favorite teacher was my English teacher. And why I like her so much? Because she always used to connect teaching and learning process with real life. She never used to tell me, okay, just read the textbooks, do the question answers at the back, and finish, and you get good marks. No, that was not her focus. Her focus was too much into connecting the teaching and learning with the real life. She used to do the real application. She was my favorite teacher. And as a child, the way she used to dress up, the way she used to conduct herself, the way she used to talk, has really impressed me.
So, generally speaking, do you think this is missing now in teaching as far as teachers are concerned, or it is not showing up in the life?
It depends on teacher to teacher. There are some teachers who are self-motivated. They do a lot of things when they are in the classroom, but the preparation is done. But there are some teachers, they just want to come in the classroom, teach, and
so good teachers are, we all have good teachers.
yes, of
but
course we have.
I like to flip the question and
Yes.
just to play around it. Who was your hated teacher?
Okay.
You don't need to name
No,
anyone.
sure, I'm not here.
But just to understand from you as
Of
students,
course.
we also used to have someone who we used to look up to, and there was someone who who was not comforting with us. So
Of course.
just to give up any idea about your
Yes. Again, I would say I had a teacher, my maths teacher, and as I said, the teacher can really make and break. I never used to like maths. Why? Because again, maths used to be so abstract. It used to be only numbers for me, nothing else. She never told me that why I should be learning maths. And today also one of my weaknesses is maths. I've never done good in maths. And because I did not want to attend a class, I deliberately used to make mistakes so that she makes me stand up in the class. And whenever it used to be that she used to make, and happily I used to spend my time and be outside the class. So again, you see, two teachers, different subjects, same student, but used to love English and used to hate maths. Because teachers.
So at the end of the day, you are also a normal person who has favorites and hated also. So that is good of you to understand.
Yes.
So again, to delve more into your personal life, again, you don't need to mention something specific, but have you ever failed in any subject? Because as a student, we need to understand that teachers are also vulnerable. They have been struggling with them, because as a student, we often feel that they are the perfect embodiment of teaching.
Yeah.
So is it something like that happened to you or not?
Well, I never failed. But yes, again I said in maths is my weakness. I never scored well in maths. Even today, for me, if I do 2 plus 2, I have to think twice.
So you really struggled with maths.
Yes.
So a lot of times, when I was in class and many of the students used to sleep in the class because of teachers. Did you do some kind of those activities in your class? Did you ever slept or had lunch at the back, at the back seat, sitting with your friends, just having fun around?
Yes, I was a naughty child. Like I said, and teachers were. I also told my teachers. I never slept, but yes, I used to enjoy my punishment when I used to stand up in class in my maths classes. I also ate tiffin many times in my class.
So when you see today, students doing that, how do you, at one side, at a personal side, you used to associate, understand the school of thought, but as a school teacher or principal, how do you, differentiate between
As
that?
a teacher, I definitely stopped. I don't like them, especially sleeping. No way. Eating tiffin and all, it's okay.
But you do understand the psychology.
Absolutely, I know that my child is doing it. But I would definitely blame the teacher that she's not doing something in the class which is so interesting that the child is getting bored and he's or she's sleeping or eating tiffin. So a teacher has to be blamed. I won't be honest.
So in your understanding, it is the teacher who can make a student understand or aware in the class and can be responsible for
If
the
a teacher is having a very interesting class, there is no question that a child is doing the class.
Did you play any sports during your school days?
I used to play almost all the sports, but badminton was my favorite.
So do you still continue with that?
I still sometimes, if I ever get a chance, I still play.
So did you play at some level, national
Yes,
level?
I have played university.
So why does it happen that after certain age or certain levels that you have achieved, students generally opt out?
Yeah, it is because in India there is no scope for sports. Now it has recently started, but when I was a student and maybe 10 years back, except cricket, there was no other sports which was actually being valued. So I think that is the reason the students opt, because they think that there's no cricket.
Okay, so just to understand more about it, were you very decisive about your career as a teacher? Were you always wanted, to be a teacher in your profession?
Yes.
Or does it happen by chance?
No, I from the beginning only I wanted to be a teacher.
how did you decide that what did you want to do in your graduation, or what did you do basically in your graduation?
I will again go back to my schooling. Schooling is the most important part of a child's life. Now again I say that my English teacher was very, very important. She played an important part to be what I am today. And when I joined my college, I took English honors, and then I did literature in English.
How was your college life? Like, teachers are perceived to be strict or boring or very attentive in your classes. So did you enjoy your college life? How was your college life basically?
Yes, it was a complete difference from schooling to college. It was a complete freedom I got the moment I reached the college. And the teachers were not very attentive. They used to just come, take the lectures and go. They didn't care that how I'm doing, what kind of preparation I'm doing for my examination. There were only the lectures used to happen, and there was a freedom. Yes, I bunked many times in college, my classes, because it is a kind of a freedom immediately you get from school.
So just as you mentioned that you bunked and you enjoyed a lot, so any funny incident of your college life that you always remember, like if you want to revisit those days and you think about it and you'll laugh out loud and you'll enjoy that moment. Any funny incident if you would like to share? Maybe it would have happened in your class or outside.
Yes.
Just to give you an insight.
Okay. Ragging was a complete no in my school, in my college. Once I saw there were some boys, they were talking to juniors, and we could make out a group of girls. We were standing and watching from outside. There were some boys, they were troubling juniors. We just went there and be part of what was happening, although we were not participating, but we just stood and watched. Now, our English, actually, she saw us from far away, and she started approaching us. Now, those boys were very smart. They ran away from there immediately, and we thought that we are not doing anything. We kept standing there. Now, she came and she could make out that some kind of, and ragging used to be those days only act, sing, dance, those kind of things, not the kind of ragging is happening these days. Now, actually, she started lusting at us. She did not even listen to us. She kept moving on and on and on. We tried to make her understand that we were just only the spectators. She was very angry, very furious, and in the meanwhile, our principal also came from that side. The principal also, the same speed, with a double of the speed, he started off and blasted us. And then I don't know from where, that day everybody was so punctual. There was a cameraman who was going from there, and he told that you click the picture of all these people who are doing this nasty thing here standing in the college campus. And tomorrow is going to be in the newspaper. Oh God, we were so scared. I said, how we are going to come back and tell our parents that something like this we are doing in the school campus. And when we reached home, we were so scared the whole night. We thought that tomorrow the newspaper is going to be full. Those days we were children, we didn't know that this kind of things are not there in the newspapers. So not so important news. Now, we had a sleepless night, and at night also we were calling our parents, what are you doing? What will happen? What are you going to tell your parents? The next day, first thing we did was open the newspaper, and there was no news about us. It took us a happy leave, we thought, thank God.
So the principal had a good, fun day.
Yes.
That happens. So, about your college, so how much did you score in college? Like, if you can give a range, you don't need to be very specific about it.
See, those days when we were studying that time, it was not 90% percentage nobody could score. I could score between 75 to 80%, and that was good enough, and my parents were very proud of me, and they actually bragged about that my daughter has scored these many marks those days.
So in college life, there are often days when you are down, when you are not very decisive about your career. So during your college days, were you very, there were days when you were indecisive as to how will your life go about, will you succeed, and all kinds of emotions that a student goes through for their professional life and aims. So were there days, and how did you go about and understand the real meaning of it?
Yes, as I said that my father was a bureaucrat and he wanted me to do IAS, which I was not very interested in. And always wanted to be a teacher, and especially literature, language teacher, English teacher. That was the time, my father was actually forcing me to prepare for IAS, which I did. And then one day what I did was I sat down with my dad and I told him that That's how I got it. So let me do it. Here, my mother was a big supporter, and she supported me.
So you had a heart-to-heart discussion with the father. So do
And
you,
yes,
do you recommend doing this with most of the
of course,
students? And
of course.
upcoming-
These days, yes, these days I've seen as a principal of a school, I meet so many parents. There's so many parents are in my contact, and they are more anxious and they try to force their children, which they are not used to. So I try to counsel them, and also I tell my students that if your parents are forcing you or insisting you to do something which you don't want to do, please go and sit with them and talk to them. Tell them clearly that that is not, you don't want to do that. Please allow me to do it. So I think I advise all the students that they should become parents.
So in a particular lifespan, mentors play a very important role in someone's life.
Yes.
So did you have any mentors in your life, like guiding angels, who used to guide you or understand you about the scope of life and how to go about it?
Yes, my mother was one. She was a great support. Although she was a housewife, but she knew that what's happening around. She used to keep herself updated with everything. And what I'm today is because of my mother. She has mentored me. She has, wherever I was in a problem, I used to come and clearly talk to her, tell her that this is my problem, I'm facing this, and she used to tell me the right path. She has always guided me, and I am really grateful and thankful to her that what I'm doing is today is just because of her.
So, if I were to talk about the education system specifically, like as you mentioned that the college life was different as compared to school.
Yes.
So, if you were to pin it down to education system, how different was college for education system, and did it bring the best out of you, or does it left to everything to you to discover about?
Well, I would say that people talk very high about Delhi University, but I personally feel that it is not it is not student centric. Teachers are not about it. They just come to teach. If you go to them with some problem, I don't guess they give a kind of solution. It should be college should be more based on application based rather than just lecture, which I don't think we should be giving to our students. So we should prepare them for the life tomorrow, especially in college.
So when I was I'm also passed out from Delhi University. So I did it from Ramnala College and I did geology over there. So what used to happen was there were only 2 permanent teachers and rest were guest faculty.
Yes.
So did it happen with you?
Yes, of course. It is the same. Guest faculty, and they were not reachable. You can't contact them if you want.
So if we were to see
Yes.
in terms of school education, college is also not that up to the mark.
Is not.
Do you think why actually this is a very pertinent question that often used to needs to be answered, that why is Delhi University so hyped then? That as a graduate you have also passed, I also passed. I understand that it's not up to the mark. You are also pointing it on camera that it is not up to the mark. So why is Delhi University so hyped? Like right now the admission process is going on in Delhi University. Soon there will be cutoff that would be 90 plus above 99. That's the least you can expect.
Yes.
Why is Delhi University so hyped? Can you just
I
share your
think
thoughts?
somebody needs to revamp the complete system, the way teaching and learning process is happening in Delhi University. I think somebody needs to take a kind of step where we need to make it more practical than.
And if you were to talk about the media hype, do you think that because Bollywood has covered it a lot in terms of movies and all, most of the outsider students that come to Delhi,
that's
they are
right.
very, very starry eyes and they think of Delhi University as very high thing.
Yeah.
So does that need to stop, or
I think that
people need to grow up?
people need to understand that they should be learning from the experience of the people who have passed out from the university. We should say that so much of attraction should not be there. Yes, you're right. The media has cited in movies also colleges, the kind of college life they show. But in practically, when you actually go inside, it's nothing like that.
You people need to understand that Delhi University, every college is not same. if you were to go to North Campus colleges, you will get a different kind of facility. You go to South Campus and Off Campus colleges. It's almost equivalent to government schools or something.
Exactly.
So it is not as it portrays in Bollywood movies. So you need to understand before applying to any particular college that you must be doing in upcoming days. So better go out and try out about understand those colleges. Yes.
And people are not aware of that. I think students, what I do in my school, I call the career counselors and make them understand that what kind of opportunities are there and outside.
Yes, so you basically, Delhi University is not the end of the world. You need to go about exploring more in and around Delhi University, and there are many private universities and colleges who are doing really well. They invest in a lot of energy into you. Yes, infrastructure could be different, but at the end of the day, a teacher and the facilities matters a lot. It's of no use going to Delhi University and when you are not having permanent teachers who are accessible, and accessibility is a very strong factor over here. So if we were to move again, ask a fun questions like in your college, as you mentioned that there was days when you were really happy and you had so much of fun. So any favorite teachers again there that led a very strong impact on you or guided you in your career ahead as it happened in school?
I won't say that. I can't recall.
So that is how you can correlate that there is a difference between the education.
I do.
So in school, would you then are you suggesting that in school there is still a personal touch with students and in college there is not?
Yes, I would say.
So it will be mostly on the bad side of the college's education.
Yeah. Colleges, you have more freedom. You are you want to attend lecture. You don't. Nobody is looking at you. But yes, ultimately there should be some kind of watch on students.
So a lot of freedom is being given, and that needs to be covered. So I'm sure you have gone through B.Ed process and all. How was your B.Ed experience?
Again, yes, B.Ed was a good experience. I used to live in hostel. In B.Ed, it was a great experience for me. But I would again say that B.Ed curriculum again should be revamped completely, because this curriculum was written years and years back, which is not very relevant to what is there. What I've learned in B.Ed, I'm hardly anything I'm using from there. It's again more theoretical. Practical knowledge is not given to teachers. There should be more focus should be given on child psychology, because that is something which we as teachers are using more in the classroom. There should be more practical knowledge on classroom management. There should be more knowledge given on skill-based learning, and what are the new trends which are coming in 21st century learning and teaching process. That kind of teaching is not being taught in B.Ed.
So if there is any aspiring teacher that is coming up and is watching your interview, and he is about to enter into B.Ed, what advice would you give that in comparison to the theoretical knowledge being granted over there and practical knowledge that is needed to comply with this profession?
Yes, they should be doing more of internship in schools. They should, before going to a real classroom, they should be watching teachers who are experts. They should be watching them, seeing them, and what kind of problems a teacher faces in the classroom practically. That is more important.
Ma'am, again to understand it more importantly, if a teacher is entering into a school as an intern, do you think that she or he has that access to those senior teachers right now? They can sit down with them and understand with them as to what their experiences are and how to go about and learning from them?
Yes, when an intern is coming, especially to my school, I definitely give some time to that intern, because tomorrow she is going to be a teacher actually going in the classroom and will be teaching students. So yes, I myself give some time to them, and also I ask my teachers to make them whatever the problems they have or any practical knowledge they want.
So upcoming budding teacher needs to connect with senior teachers to understand that. And are senior teachers that much accessible? Do they give out those kind of energies and
yes,
incubate them?
It depends on the head of the school. If she spares some time, they definitely use it.
So of course after B.Ed you must have joined some school. So if I were to ask something about your job, how did you get your first proper job? Like, what was the process? How was that feeling? Because most of the teachers that are coming up might not be knowing what the next logical step would be or how to go about entering this profession and to get a job. So if you would like to share your experience around that.
See, I would like to start with when I did my B.Ed. I immediately got married to an army officer, and we had been shifting from place to place. So again, not a proper school. Yes, wherever we used to go, there used to be small schools. One of the places we were posted there somewhere in a very remote area, that was Kohima. There were no schools, but I still, as a teacher, I used to collect the tribal students at my place and I used to teach them. Yes, my proper job was done when I came to Delhi, settled down. My first proper job was in one of the best name in India, that's Delhi Public School. The first school I joined is Gurgaon. It was a great experience for me. And the job I got through the newspaper, I applied it. They called me for an interview. I faced the interview, which went not well. But my demo, which I gave in the classroom, was very good. And they were quite impressed that I could demo I gave. I immediately got a call from them. Got my first opportunity.
So this is the entire process that the teacher has to
The entire process a teacher has to go, she has to go through. See, every school has got a different way of selection. There are different levels of interviews, and then there is a demo class. I think the criteria which most of the schools they give to hire a teacher is.
So this is coming from a personal space. Is the demo culture or the demo process good enough to identify a potential teacher?
No, it is not. It is not. It's a combination of the interaction with the person who is. See, I tell you my personal experience when I hire a teacher. What are the qualities I see in a teacher before hiring? See, I don't go a lot on the kind of experience a teacher has and the kind of degrees he has. When I'm interviewing a teacher, first thing I see is the attitude. If a teacher has got the attitude of learning, I immediately hire. I know maybe she is not a very great teacher, but she has the potential in learning, and whatever the way and the shape I want to give to the teacher, I will. So when I hire it, first and most important, I see
that hunger is required.
Yes.
To learn new things, to
To learn.
innovate. Because the reason I'm asking this question is, if demos are so good and teachers are hired, what happens to them after they have been hired or
that's what I'm
after
saying, that
certain-
it has to be the combination.
Thanks for watching the first part of the interview. I hope you liked it. Second part of the interview is exclusively present in our Android app. To download the app, click here, or you can search Exedify on